The Drow. They're a sub-race of the elves, and they're the dark elves of this universe. You can see it in their appearance. Drow dark elves are generally evil, and boy, can they be really evil. This is in due part to their goddess Loth, is the god of spiders, the Spider Queen, and many other awesome spider-related nicknames. Now, you don't have to be inherently evil. Good drow do exist, although they're inherently small in numbers. For this build, we are going to stay true to Loth, and what better way to do that than to be a mini spider god ourselves, a Beastmaster Ranger, with a loyal and incredibly powerful spider companion ourselves. Now, this isn't the only way to roleplay as an evil, Loth-sworn drow. I'll get into some other playstyles later too, but this is what we're going to start off the build guide with. Alright guys, so before we get into the build, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I finally got 1,000 subs, so that's awesome. The support is great. I really do love it. So this will be a drow themed build, and we will primarily be Loth. Excuse me if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but primary level is going to be Ranger. You can actually go dual wield focus if you want to, or you can go range and focus more on the pet, but I'll tell you a little bit more later. Now, for favorite enemies, I'm going to knock this all out at once. I do like Ranger, and it gives you the option of getting a heavy armor if you do want to, because you're going to get multiple times that you're going to be able to pick favorite enemy, and same thing with Natural Explorer. If you want to be more of a skill monkey, and have a lot of proficiencies and different skills to be like the real MC and not have to constantly switch characters, you can use all these. It's very good, but I just like getting the resistances. I don't mind switching out characters. In a D&D game, the whole point is like you and the boys and the girls like all together, and in one party you got to utilize different advantages and proficiencies that some people are strong in and some people aren't so strong in, right? I think that's like the whole point. But you get multiple options, and taking half damage from up to 3 damage types is very good. Background, whatever you want, whatever proficiency you want in this skill. If you're going to be a skill monkey, again, you can really cover a lot of your bases here. And then for abilities, you probably notice a consistency with me is I always like to get 16 con. I do not like to use my ASIs to invest any further in anything but my primary attribute. So that is something that I like to do. You can do charisma here. You can get rid of it if you want to, get strength for more jump distance, but it's all personal preference. The core of every single archetype, really, when it comes to these builds, is got to be like 17 dex or 17 strength, right? So getting right into the build, you'll see this is my drow. If this is going to be your main character, because really I don't think Minthara fits too much as a queen of spiders. You can do that if you really want to. I actually haven't got to my playthrough yet where I use Minthara in a party, so I actually don't know. I don't want to spoil myself. So I am using Wither's Hireling to use as an example. If you want to make your character MC evil playthrough Dark Urge with Drow, you're probably making a little bit cooler than this with the pink hair. It bothers me, but hey, the point is a Loth-sworn Drow, right? You see we get this awesome spider pet. If you don't want to use a spider pet, you don't have to. You have other options, and I think, I write this down on my spreadsheet that there is very good options, and I think every single pet, even though they might not be as strong as a spider, they do bring a lot of utility and have their own strengths in their own way. Alright, so of course, it's Negron Tech, I have to I have to get a spreadsheet, guys. So this is pretty consistent with all my spreadsheets. This is pretty consistent with all my spreadsheets so far. I like to just go level 1 to 12. I give you options, and kind of the way you can see this, you can mix and match this as much as you want. If you wanted to go like, let's say 8 range or 4 fighter, for example, you could just do this real quick and kind of like that, right? For example, but that's kind of like how I try to organize it, so it's just easy to read and easy for you to like have an idea like, oh, if I go 8 ranger, then I get 1 2 3 4, I get these 4 fighter. Just an example. So primarily we are going to be the Beastmaster Ranger, the spider god, like the spider lord, that the Loth-sworn follower that we utilize range and spider, right? It's kind of like a evil Legolas, right, from Lord of the Rings. But so for feats, one of the most important ones is going to be Sharpshooter. Same thing with Great Weapon Master. It just gives you too much damage. And then for me, I just like going ASI in at least once, and then preferably another one. Now the thing is with ranged, a lot of the feats are not too good when it comes to archer focus, right? It just doesn't seem like it's really that worth it that much. The ASI is just so good because your pet actually scales with your dexterity too. They actually get proficiency bonus at level 5 when you get to level 5, right? So they get extra damage. That's what this comp scale means. It means your companion is scaling. Companion bond is the name of the ability, and you get extra damage and AC aligning with your AC bonus. Aligning with your proficiency bonus, I'm sorry. So it's very, very good. They also get health buffs each time I write comp scale. So hopefully that's easy to read. And then you'll just see what the ranger gets. But really the build highlights, you really are like Loreful. Like, you have a very, very powerful pet that can do damage. It does 2 attacks, so really you're getting 4 attacks a turn. The way I like to do it, you can go 12 ranger if you want that last feat. I like just going cleric because it just fits in with the lore so damn well. You still go Loreful, that's your deity. You get War Priest, and you get 3 extra attacks per long rest. It's not game breaking, it's nothing crazy, but I just like the lore aspect, and I don't think the extra ASI is too worth it. The extra feat is better, especially if you just go another ASI or athlete, so you round out that 19 to 20 dex. That would be excellent. But again, I just have some examples here that you can switch around. But, you know, a thing that a lot of people miss with archers and the range characters, that you have an incredible amount of versatility, because you have access to so many different arrows, and you get so many arrows in the game. It's kind of crazy that you get access to AoE, the smoke powder arrow, the arrows, you know, the dragon slaying arrow. You get so many very, very good utilities, like transportation from the arrows. Like, you get a lot of good utility, and like that ranger, that this Beastmaster ranger is able to bring so much to the party through all this arrow access. And then I give you a couple more examples here where, like, if you want another fight style, you can do that. And if you want to go wizard, because you do get access to level 3 spells as a ranger at level 9, so you can use scrolls and learn them if you do that quick wizard dip. Now I'm going to get into the really fun part, because Beastmaster ranger is not really too much to go over. But actually, before I get to the fun part, I do want to talk about this awesome looking spider companion here. He's so good. Not only does he bring very good damage, but he has incredible CC potential. You pretty much get web access infinitely. This is not called like, this is your pet. It's not a spell slot. So you get web. It's so good. You see in the highlights I do it. And then from there, you can really utilize this, and then you can fire arrow, and now you can create burning ground. Like, you have a lot of utility when it comes to web. And then also your pet, actually, if you see right here, it gets buffed starting to turn on webbed, right? So they get extra movement, resistance to poison damage, and you see, like, the pet is pretty damn tanky, not high health points, but pretty good AC. One of the biggest things about the pet is that they do get bonus damage stacking when you're Hunter's Mark. So not only is it benefiting from your proficiency bonus, but now you get Hunter's Mark extra damage. At level 11, they do get the extra attack, as I mentioned, and some of their very nice abilities. A Cocoon, it has a very good CC potential. 3 turns, you can completely eliminate a target from the battlefield. So the Bursting Brood is probably one of the coolest abilities when it comes to pets. It does respectable damage, but the big thing is that Infest, right? Infest, I'm sorry. So you get, you know, a 2d8 per turn. But the beautiful thing is that when you do start this, it is only once per long rest. It's something to think about, but it's an AoE spread on death, and it really fits like the whole, like, the Loreful drow. Like, you're like the follower. Like, this is like a signature ability when it comes to being like that evil Loreful drow. Like, it's so damn cool once you do get to utilize it and you see that infect spread. It really is awesome. So the venomous bite is very good, especially because you have the possibility of poison. So you have a lot of dot potential here. It's very lore appropriate. It's awesome. It's such a really fun playstyle, guys. Like, you should really give it a shot if you don't want to just go like normal Gloomstalker Assassin as your bow, double X-bow character. So now that's kind of like my little homebrew. It doesn't really take a lot to make the Beastmaster Ranger very unique. Innately, it is very lore appropriate build when it comes to like the deity Loth. Like, it really is. Like, you're just like, hey, you have a spider, the Spider Queen. It makes too much sense, right? But I wanted to get this, I don't know why I came with this name. I just thought it was alright, like the Dark Elf Assassin. Now, this is going to be the dual wield version. You can still have a pet access if you want to be a melee dual wielding spider, because I feel like the drow, you know, it's more appropriate to be more damage focused. Like, you're agile, you're elf like, it just makes more sense to be able to do a massive amount of damage. So if you do like the idea of being a ranger that has access to a spider summon and still being melee, you can go a combination of 8-4 rogue, ranger rogue, or you can go 9-3 Ranger Rogue if you rather have the level 3 spells and you don't care about that extra feat. So it is an option. If you go 8-4, you get 3 feats. If you go 9-3, you get 2 feats. So that is something to think about, right? I do like 8-4 because I think the 4th level in Rogue, getting that feat, is very good as a dual wielder, because the ASI, the Dex, and the Savage Attacker is very good because the thing is, Savage Attacker benefits more the more attack rolls you get, right? So if you're dual wielding, that's 4 separate attacks per turn. Each one benefits from that Savage Attacker, so it doesn't scale exponentially, but every single time you roll an attack during a turn, Savage Attacker gets better and better and better. Not so much with Great Weapon Master, even though I still like it with Great Weapon Master, but it's definitely a very, very good, a much higher level feat when it comes to dual wielding. So I have the notes. You can just read the notes here. But the thing about dual wielding, it does do more damage. I think dual wielding melee ranger or the Dark Elf Assassin, I'll talk about in a second, is better than the pure range, even though the range gives you more utility. Sneak attack is very, very good, especially in the Dark Elf Assassin version, if you want to invest more into Rogue or Rogue Thief, because you're going to get a higher, up to, I think, a 4d6. Yes, in this version of 4d6, you can go primarily more rogue and just like 3 or 4 fighter if you want to. That's very, very good. But the thing is, the dual wielding, just like Monk and having the unarmed attacks twice per turn, is the same thing with dual wielding. So every source of on-hit damage, like the gloves, you get necrotic gloves. There's so many weapons, especially when you get to Act 3. But even early game, I think you get the acid ring in Act 1. I'm not sure, but something like that. Instead of having benefiting like a two-hander, you're only getting 1 to 2 attacks a turn. Like now you're benefiting from this 4+ times. If you do a cleric dip and something like that, like, and you go fighter into action surge in this the Dark Elf example, the multipliers are so much better, because now you're utilizing these. You're kind of like double dipping on hit damage, and that's where, like, you see the one clip I showed with the riposte, and it's like disgusting that I almost one-shot it with crits. But that's another thing. So what, in the Dark Elf Assassin, the subclass, I actually like Champ. Why do I like Champ so much? It's just simple math, right? So for the Dark Elf Assassin, you have a lot of reduced critical roll items, right? Something like this: Stealthy Critical, Fighter Rogue, you're going to be getting sneak attacks, you're going to be hiding a good amount. That's -1. Champ is -1. Now you're at 18. Then you get another -1 from this helmet in Act 3. Now you're at 17. I'm not sure if the weapons, no, but like, let's say if you wanted to make the Fighter Rogue and you want it to be a range, now you have another -1 with the Death Shot. I like this better than that Legendary Bow, just because the proficiency bonus, and also like getting, every time you lower that critical roll, your potential for damage just increases like so much. It's so damn good, especially because, again, guys, it's very easy to get advantage in this game. It really, really is. Now, for battle examples, what you're going to do is you're always going to try to maintain Hunter's Mark. It's just such a very, very good damage output, and you're benefiting from it 4 different times. Your pet benefits twice, you benefit twice in the range variant. If you're melee, now you're benefiting from it, you know, still 4 times, because you're dual wielding, attacking, you know, twice each time, plus the action. And then if you use your War Priest charges, it just grows more and more with the benefits. But that's pretty much it. You have a lot of spell slots. If you go to Wizard Dip, you get at level 3 spells, get haste and stuff like that. But there's a lot of very good things here. You can use your utility spells if you want to. But pretty much, you know, this is pretty much it, guys. Like, that's how you play the build. And you just do very solid, reliable damage. If you are the Rogue variant, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to be in melee, and then you're going to do sneak attacks. That's really it. You know, one thing to know is, again, I talked about the arrows a little bit, but you pretty much just shoot them as you like please. That's really it. Like, you can, you know, use the wed utility from your pet and then create burning ground from that. You can set off chain explosion that way. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do as a ranger with all the different access to arrows. It's very, very good. Alright, so real quick, back to like the whole Dark Elf Assassin. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can just go Ranger Rogue, as I did in the first one, or you can go Fighter Rogue. I think the Fighter Rogue's more powerful. Either way, you get heavy armor access if you want. If you want to utilize medium armor, because you are going to be scaling your dex, and you'll get that exotic material that brings you no limit to your dex contribution to AC. That's very, very good. You can do that, but just having the option for both is very, very good. And you might think, oh, a lot of people just go 3 into Rogue. That's it. That's all you need. And they are right, because you really want that Thief extra bonus action to get that extra offhand attack, because that's the big benefit when it comes to dual wielding. But if you do want to invest more into Rogue, that's absolutely fine, guys, because now you're getting a better sneak attack. You're increasing that die by 1d6 every time it scales. You could even go predominantly Rogue if you don't care about the Champ or Beastmaster subclass buff at fighter level 7. And again, I did talk about Champ. I think it's just so good. It's simple. Fighting style will be dual wielding. You can go defense if you were going to go the 11 ranger and 1 fighter dip if you wanted that free AC. That is an option, but I'm not going to recommend that. But that's pretty much it. This isn't really too complicated. Again, like I talked about the dual wielding, but the Dark Elf Assassin, like, you have a very, very good stealth ability, and then you just tremendous you have a tremendous benefit when it comes to double dipping. You know, the ring that does acid damage, that's plus 8 damage flat right now, right? Now you have these other on hits, and you just contribute so much. And if you have the weapons that give rolls, like a 1d6, a 1-4 on hit weapon attack, stuff like that, now you're betting from that 4 separate times with weapon attacks, and that's why Savage Attacker is so good. So again, like if you're gonna go to dual wield, I said it a little bit before, but definitely double ASI. You want to get that dex maxed out. And if you did not want to use finesse weapons, you can go dual wielder, and you can use you know, other weapons that are maybe strength based. You can go strength, but then again, you wouldn't be doing rogue because the rogue does require a finesse weapon. I do not know if rogue, a sneak attack, is counteracted by dual wielder. I don't think it is, but something to think about too. But that's pretty much it, guys. I don't think it's too complicated. Again, I'll give you a link to the sheets that you guys seem to really like it, and mostly with Negron Tech. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Just my last thoughts. I will try to get another BG3 video out soon. I do put a lot of effort into them, so it's like I can't just pump them out again. I don't like to just release trash. I like to give a little bit of background lore, thematics to it. And again, I did not mention this before, but there's a lot of resources when it comes to Drow and their lore and loft, and they do believe in other gods. So if you just like the look of the drow, like that pale, that ashen lichen look, I think the BG3 calls it that color type, you can do other things. Like you can go Circle the Spore Druid Cleric, you can go Sork Druid. Like there's so many things you can do, and it would still be incredibly lore appropriate. If you want to be an MC Drow where you're a very, very powerful caster, you can do that too. Focus on the darkness, the poison, the necrotic damage, stuff like that. Like, and it still works. It really does. But me, I like to, you know, homebrew this because I feel like the Dark Elf Assassin, a lot of people aren't doing dual wielding. It's just everything's about monk, tavern brawler, so. But yeah, I hope bring a little bit different. I still think Beastmaster Ranger is an incredible build. I really do think it's so good, especially because it's one of the few ways you're getting 4 consistent attacks every turn when you really think about it. And then one class being able to bring all that utility through the Spider Pet while being Loftsworn is just, it's so damn cool to me. And I hope you enjoyed. And that's pretty much it, guys. Have a good one.